Shout out to the homeboy JK. He retweeted this. He says, Browns reporter lies. GM Barry crushes fake news. I expect Shedeur Sanders to have more of a command over offense. I don't know if Deshaun Watson. Now, this was just yesterday.
Andrew Barry, a day ago, said, I don't think any player has an advantage. I don't know anyone does. It's a competition. We don't know yet. It's April. So, is Mary Kay going to be flat out wrong again?
An NFL executive just snapped on a Cleveland Browns reporter over the whole Shedeur Sanders situation. And this isn't just media drama anymore. This is turning into a full-blown credibility war. Because now, it's not just about who's winning the quarterback battle between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur. It's about who you even trust to tell you what's really going on inside that building. And the moment trust disappears between fans, media, and the front office, everything starts to spiral. Now, let's slow this down and really connect what just happened, because the timeline matters. Reports start circulating that Deshaun Watson is already ahead in the QB competition. Not just slightly ahead, but having the inside track to win the job. And immediately, the NFL world reacts. Fans push back, analysts start questioning it, and then it gets louder when names like Pat McAfee and Mel Kiper Jr. start weighing in. That's when you know it's not just a local story anymore. It's national. This is where it gets dangerous, because the report made it sound like the competition is basically over after just a few practices. And that's what set people off, because if you're telling fans that Shedeur Sanders never really had a shot, that this was already decided behind the scenes, then what are we even doing here? What's the point of calling it a competition? And that's exactly where the frustration is coming from.
But every time she's interviewing Andrew Barry, Todd Monken, they're shutting her down real quick. So where's she getting source? How many practices have we gone through to get the performance?
Here's the part nobody's talking about. The Browns themselves didn't even sound that definitive when they spoke publicly. Andrew Barry was asked directly about the quarterback situation, and his answer was way more measured. He talked about development. He talked about growth. He said Shedeur has improved in decision-making, pocket awareness, and command of the offense. He didn't say anyone had the job locked up. In fact, he specifically said no player has an outright advantage. So now you've got two completely different messages. One from the front office saying it's a process, and another from a reporter saying Watson is already ahead and should basically be named QB1 immediately. And that's where everything starts to feel off.
That Shedeur and Deshaun both looked good. Both of them looked solid. That's what we got from both of them. We look at the numbers. We looked at the tracker. You had that one pick from Shedeur, but you had that one missed throw from Deshaun that was easy money, easy miss right on that one.
This is where young players usually make a mistake. They think the offseason tells the full story. But anyone who understands football knows that off-season practices are not the real test. Installs are basic, reads are simplified, and experience always looks better early on. Of course, Deshaun Watson is going to look more comfortable in early installs. He's been through it before. He's seen NFL defenses. He knows how to operate, and even analysts pointed that out. Mel Kiper literally said, look, this isn't surprising. Watson should look better right now. He's experienced. He's been in the system. Shedeur is still learning. That doesn't mean the competition is over. It means the process is just starting. This is where it gets dangerous, because when you take that early observation and turn it into a headline like Watson has already won the job, you're not just reporting, you're shaping a narrative. And that's exactly what people are accusing Mary Kay of doing. Not just reporting information, but framing it in a way that pushes a certain outcome. Here's the part nobody's talking about. If this narrative is wrong, it damages trust with the fans. But if it's right, it might be even worse, because that would mean the Browns already made their decision before giving Shedeur a real opportunity. And either way, it's a bad look. Now, let's talk about Watson for a sec, because his situation adds another layer to this entire story. He's coming off serious injuries, including an Achilles issue, which historically is tough for quarterbacks. Not because of arm strength, but because of mobility, pocket movement, quick reactions. Those things matter more than people realize. Even comparisons were made to guys like Brett Favre and Dan Marino, where late in their careers, it wasn't their arm that declined, it was their movement. So, when someone says Watson is already clearly ahead, people are naturally going to question that. Not because he can't throw, but because the full picture hasn't even been tested yet. You haven't seen live reps. You haven't seen pressure situations. You haven't seen how he holds up over time. This is where it gets dangerous, because now the narrative isn't just about performance, it's about intention. Are the Browns making this decision based on who gives them the best chance to win right now, or are they thinking about development, future potential, and long-term success? And from everything we're hearing, it sounds like they're leaning towards winning now, which makes sense. This is the NFL. Jobs are on the line. Coaches don't get years to figure things out. They need results immediately.
I don't get it. I really don't understand what's going on with Shedeur. I don't understand why people just want to keep the hating and hating and hating. It's like, what? I don't get it. I mean, leave the kid alone, please.
Totally
I mean, come
agree.
on.
Totally
They won't
agree.
give this kid They won't give him any credit for anything he did. They bring up QBR. I got a name for QBR, and I won't repeat what it is.
Here's the part nobody's talking about. If that's the case, then Shedeur Sanders was never really competing for the starting job this early. He was competing for development reps, and that's a completely different conversation.
And that's where Mel Kiper's frustration comes in. He basically said, why does it feel like people are rooting against Shedeur? Why does it feel like he's not getting a fair evaluation? Kiper even questioned the way stats like QBR are being used to judge him, saying they don't tell the full story. He made it clear, you have to watch the tape. You have to see the actual plays. This is where young players usually make a mistake. They think numbers alone define them, but in reality, perception matters just as much. And right now, the perception around Shedeur is being shaped in real time by these reports. This is where it gets dangerous, because if fans start believing that the media is pushing narratives instead of reporting facts, the entire relationship breaks down. And that's exactly what we're seeing in Cleveland right now. Fans are questioning everything. Who's leaking information? Who's controlling the story? And why does it feel like the narrative changes every 24 hours? Now, zoom out for a second, because this is bigger than just one reporter or one quarterback battle. This is about how teams manage information in today's NFL. Every leak, every report, every source says moment, it all shapes public perception. And sometimes it's strategic. Sometimes it's not even about being accurate. It's about controlling the conversation. Here's the part nobody is talking about. If Watson is named the starter early, it sends a message. It says the Browns are prioritizing experience over potential. It says they're trying to win now, not develop for later. And that's fine if it works. But if it doesn't, that decision is going to be questioned immediately. And if Shedeur ends up sitting longer than expected or not getting meaningful reps, the narrative flips again. Now it becomes about whether the Browns mishandled his development, whether they rushed a decision, whether they let outside noise influence their process. This is where it gets dangerous, because there's no neutral outcome here. Either Watson succeeds and justifies the decision, or he struggles and opens the door for massive criticism. And in both scenarios, the media narrative is going to play a huge role in how everything is judged. So now we get to the real question. What actually happens next? Do the Browns stick with this direction and name Watson QB1 early? Do they let the competition play out in training camp? Or do they adjust based on performance once things get real? Because this is where everything connects back to the bigger picture. This isn't just about a quarterback battle. This is about how the Browns are building their identity moving forward. Are they a team that trusts development, or are they a team that prioritizes immediate results? And I'll leave you with this. If it turns out that this whole situation was driven more by narrative than reality, what does that say about how we consume NFL news today? And more importantly, who do you trust when the stories don't match what the team is actually saying? Because right now in Cleveland, the biggest battle might not even be on the field. It might be over the truth itself.